what's going on YouTube? You got Jordan here with Outdoor Gear Dad. I'm also JD Custom Knives, so if you aren't familiar with JD Custom Knives, because you only know me as Outdoor Gear Dad, you can head over to my website, www.jdcustomknives.com. You can see some of my work there. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about a product that I'm really excited about. And when I was researching this product, I didn't see a whole lot of information online. I had heard from different people and different makers about how great this product was, but when I was doing my own research, I wasn't finding a ton of YouTube videos. So I figured I would just make one so that hopefully people can see how awesome this product is. And it solves a huge pain point for me. So the product I'm going to be talking about today is by Nielsen Design Disc Grinders. It's a gentleman named Rod Nielsen. He's based up in Canada, and he has created a disc grinder hub to use with your existing motors that makes changing out between a beveled disc and a flat disc or different grits extremely easy. And if you use a disc grinder, you're a knife maker, you're a woodworker, and you use this, this tool regularly, you know that it is not the easiest thing to be changing out papers. Traditionally, you have a disc hub, right? And this one is a 9-inch disc hub. And it goes onto a 5/8 motor shaft, and this spins, right? And then you either use a pressure-sensitive adhesive pre-cut piece of sandpaper that's already cut to the 9 inches, or you are using feathering adhesive, which is what I've got on here now, and you're putting your own paper on and you're cutting it to the size and you're doing it that way. Now that's fine, but what if you're working through multiple grits? For example, maybe you are angling the tops of your scales where it meets the knife. That's something where I will actually run it through a couple different grits before I take it over to hand sanding. Switching out the papers on this requires me to rip the sandpaper off and put a new one on, and then rip that off and put a new one on. Also, when this is attached to my motor, if my motor is mounted to my bench, which mine is, cutting that paper to this size can be cumbersome, and that's when I found this product. So I'm going to bring you in for a closer look, and I'm going to walk you through what this does, how it works, and how this could be a great addition to your shop. So we're down here looking at my disc grinder, and you guys are probably familiar with how a disc grinder works, but I will move the camera. So we've got a motor that's then attached to the Nielsen Design Disc Hub. Okay. Now the one that I just took off was on here, that I just showed you was on here previously. Okay. And these you can buy pretty much anywhere that you buy a disc grinder, and they just attach onto the motor shaft right here. I'm not going to go through how to attach this because it's pretty self-explanatory. You push it in, you have a set screw that you tighten down. So this is the actual product right here. This is the hub for the disc. So when I turn on my disc grinder, you'll see that this will begin to spin. Okay, simple enough. We all know about that. Now you'll notice that this disc hub is not as big as the 9-inch. And there's a reason for that. This is a 9-inch, this is smaller, and this is by design, and I'm going to show you why. So the beauty of this product is the fact that you can purchase these discs. These discs attach to this via magnets that are actually embedded inside this hub. Now you can buy the flat discs, or you can buy the beveled discs, so that depending on your application. I went ahead and bought the flat discs because that suits most of my applications. This is 9 inches. Okay, so when this attaches, and you'll see how strong these magnets are, now we have a 9-inch disc. And I can not easily, I won't say easily because I don't want you to think that this can pop off during use, but with a little bit of pressure, I can pull that right off. Okay, so let me put that back on. We've got a 9-inch disc. Pretty sweet, right? All right, let's look at some other things real quick. So I'm going to show you how to put paper, sandpaper, actually on this disc. Now, depending on what type of sandpaper you use, there's going to be different ways to do this. For example, if you're buying the pre-cut 9-inch pressure sensitive adhesive discs that are already pre-cut and have the sticky backing, it's really as easy as just applying it right to this metal disc. And again, you could pull the metal disc off, you could apply it right to it and slap it back on. That's easy. I like those. They're very convenient and they're super easy, but they do cost a little bit more money. And I'm already buying sheets of sandpaper anyway. So to be able to use the sheets that I'm already purchasing for my disc grinder is a little bit better and cheaper for me. So to apply this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a feathering paste. I use the 3M feathering paste. You can get this on Amazon. There's a lot of places that sell it. And I'm actually going to apply the feathering paste to the metal disc. Now I'm not going to get it on this the blue hub here in the middle, but I'm going to put it on the disc, and I do that while the disc is running at a slow speed so that I can just kind of lightly apply it, and then I'll use just a piece of scrap paper or something to spread it out. From there, then I'll take it over to my table where I'll actually place the piece of sandpaper on it. So we'll get this going nice and slow. This stuff is real sticky and it oozes. And just run it all the way to the end there. And I just take a piece of paper. I just kind of rub it up like this. And the great thing about this feathering paste is that when you pull the paper off, you can actually apply a new one on. You don't have to keep applying it every time. So I only replace this, I don't know, every couple months or so. So let's take this off now. And we'll take it over to the table and I'll show you how we put our paper on it. So for this particular disc, I'm going to use an 80 grit piece. For the other disc that I have, I'm going to use a 220. I want a real aggressive one for doing more aggressive things and removing more material, and then I want a little bit finer of one that I can use for cleaning up things and just ensuring things are really nice and flat. So I've got my disc here, and now I can see really clearly where I want to place it. This also helps with waste because you can see that all of this portion of the paper that I can cut off, I can use for other applications. Whereas before, when I was doing this, I was putting it right in the center on the disc grinder and I was ending up wasting a bunch. Now you'll notice on these discs that there are bevels. Depending on what you are doing, you will put the paper on each side. For a nice flat application, I'm putting the paper on the flat side so the bevel angle is actually facing away from the paper. Okay, so now that this is on there, I'm just going to take a razor blade. I'm just going to put it up against the disc. I'm just going to cut right around the disc. And now it's ready to roll. We'll do this one more time so you can see it on the other grit. We're going to go ahead and apply our disc to the hub. Turn it on at a nice slow speed. This isn't the only way to apply this. So if you don't have a variable motor to be able to control the speed, you can also just rub this on as well. I just find that it works easier this way. Great. put our paper on. Now we will do the same thing that we did with our 80 grit on our 220. So now we have our two discs that have their adhesive on it, and we can pick which one we need for which application. Now you can buy multiple discs, so you could have these literally for every single grit that you own. I went with two just because I use two grits mostly, and then I move over to hand sanding. But again, you can buy the beveled ones, you can buy the flat ones, and you can buy multiples. So it just depends on what you are doing. Start with the 80 grit. Locks into place, and we're ready to go. Now I'm not gonna disc grind, I'm not gonna use this too much, but I am gonna just kind of show you a little bit. And the reason I'm not gonna do this too much is just because I don't have my ventilation running and my dust collection going. We'll just run it on slow. See that we have a nice flat surface on this scrap piece of micarta. Pop that off. Put our 220 on. And you'll notice when you put that on, because you can't see the hole right here, sometimes you have to eyeball it, but it locks into place pretty quick. Turn it back on. And now we have a nice 220 grit smooth finish right on that disc. So this is the Nielsen Design Disc Grinder Hub. I will put links to where you can buy this down in the description. I would highly encourage you to go check it out. You might look at it and go, wow, that costs a lot of money. I'm not gonna say what the price is on the video because rods prices may change, right? Material costs go up, supply chain, all of these different things. This is something that I would pay for over and over and over again. If this got lost or this got stolen, I would buy it again without thinking. Because although you don't think that it's that hard to be putting paper on and off and switching things out, once you have this, you realize how much time you've been wasting and how easy and convenient it is to just switch things in and out. So this will work on any motor that has a 5/8 shaft or a 5/8 motor shaft. Stick it on, there's a little set screw, and you're ready to go. It's that easy. It works with pretty much any grinder chassis that will support a 9-inch disc. So if your grinder chassis, or maybe you're not using a chassis, but if you are and it supports a 9-inch disc, this product will work. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to start doing more videos to help you guys out with the things I'm learning along my journey. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. We'll see you next time.